Hey guys, how you doing? This is Jason Ramos with Good Vibes Real Estate Solutions. Welcome to another episode of
Chat with Chatto. Wednesday. Welcome back, guys. I appreciate it. We have a special guest sitting over here on my right, Mr. Rick Wright. The reason we brought him here, he is one of our buyers, and he is actually the gentleman that purchased deal number one.
Yeah.
Numero uno.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was good because we were sharing some office space. I'm a buyer. It was great to have a wholesaler in the office, and the deal was great. So I jumped on it. It's good stuff.
Cool. So, you've bought a lot of properties in your time, right? So, and I think you've bought a lot of them from wholesalers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, most of them, I would think.
Yes.
So, tell us a little bit about what you don't like, or what wholesalers could do better,
Okay.
or that type of thing.
Yeah. So I feel that being successful in the real estate market, the best way to do that is by getting distressed properties. So the best way to get a distressed property is either through a wholesaler, through an auction site, or if you get a chance of word of mouth or different things like that. The most of our properties were all bought through wholesalers. So the positives with that are you build a relationship. I had a relationship with you guys. You brought the deal, you had the knowledge, and you vetted the deal out. You sort of came to me and said, hey, this is what it's going to take to get this deal to this place. This is the potential rent roll, this is the area, you laid it all out.
Right.
So for me, who, time is my commodity, I appreciate that.
Cool.
Then it was also able to build up relationships with other wholesalers, which gives me more volume. So
Yes.
at the end of the day, as an investor, I'm, of course, looking and searching out there, looking at MLS, looking at different things, Craigslist. But it was really nice to sit back and have deals brought to me. So I really
Right.
appreciated that, and that's the thing that I like about wholesalers.
Cool.
The thing that sort of, this hasn't happened with you guys, but sometimes with the wholesaler, they seem to get into a deal where it might be over their head, or they didn't do their numbers properly. Now it comes back on me to figure it out, to make sure that everything is in line so I don't get burnt on the deal if I end up taking it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the only thing that sort of was a little bit of, it didn't work out with wholesalers.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much it.
Okay. So yeah, that's a lot of what we get. We hear that a lot of times from our buyers is, especially from the newbies, they're so eager to lock something up that they'll sometimes lock it up for way more than they should, and they don't leave enough meat on the bone. So that's one of the things that we train you guys to do, is to make sure that you're running your numbers correctly and always be conservative. So in our market, properties are really cheap. So let's just say 40,000. Don't lock it up for 40. Don't lock it up at the top of the market. Try to give yourself a buffer. So this, number one, it gives the buyer meat on the bone, and it also allows you to make more profit. So negotiate. Don't always just be so eager. Be mindful of saying no. It's okay to say no. Like if there's no meat on the bone and the seller is not willing to negotiate, walk away. It's okay. They'll come back later. And we've done many deals like that. So Rick, what's your experience like with brand new wholesalers? Because that's who our audience mainly is.
Yeah,
What do you like?
brand new wholesalers, they're cool because they're eager, right? They're hungry, and they usually, they hustle. So it's good to see them and see them running around, scoping out deals, asking questions. Also, too, which is nice, is they seem to always be open to coaching. So if they bring me a deal, I can say, hey, this deal wasn't the greatest deal,
Right.
and this is what you probably could have done better, right? And like you said, make sure you leave meat on the bones. If I go walk through the property with them, like I'll point out some ins and outs. Usually they're a little green on looking at stuff, looking at a sill plate, making sure it's not rotted, looking at the floor beams in the basement, make sure there's no termite damage. Making sure that the foundation is good. Some of these meat,
Yeah.
these guts things that really make or break a deal.
Right.
So it's always good to have those, the know-how and to look at that. And again, they're open to coaching. So
Yeah,
it's pretty cool that way.
Absolutely.
How long have you been buying properties?
I've been in real estate for 16 years. I've been in Trenton for 10 years. So I'm in Mercer County, so Trenton and Mercer County. Real good area, a lot of good returns, on the investment. So yeah. And again, like I said, I think if I look at my portfolio, it's probably 95% wholesale deals. 95%.
That's great.
So yeah, there's only a couple that were out there that were, a couple that were realtors and a couple that were auction sites. So, and that was pretty much, that's my experience.
Gotcha.
So,
Cool.
We've been very blessed. We know you, and when we first started out, we didn't know exactly what you said. We didn't know what to look for in a property. So we were very fortunate to have somebody like you that could point it out. Hey, look at this. Did you see this? Did you know that the water heater has to be propped up to be properly ventilated?
Yeah.
The sills, termite damage, and things like that. So things that we had no clue. So when you're brand new in the business, always try to bring one of your buyers with you.
Absolutely.
Somebody that you know and trust, and they can point stuff out to you, and they'll tell you where they need to be, and then that's how you can create your spread. So he told us, hey guys, I need to be at 35. Okay, great.
Yeah.
35. Now we can work. Only do that with somebody you know and trust, though. Don't do that with just your average Joe Schmo. They might try to take your deal, but
Yep.
definitely
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
And the other piece of it is, as a wholesaler and dealing with a buyer, I need a buyer that I can trust that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. I think maybe once or twice, we really, it's a handshake. Once you shake my hand and say, yep, I'm buying this property, boom,
Yeah.
it's done.
yeah.
Right? And that goes a long way. And, you're going through the properties with us, that goes a long way. So, and I think that you probably got some deals because of that as a buyer.
Yeah.
Right? Because now you were one-on-one with us, getting the deal done, so you're the person that got the deal. And I think that's something you might want to offer to a buyer, like any buyers that might be watching. How should they deal with wholesalers? What can they do to better their odds of getting a deal from a wholesaler?
Well, it's just like any deal that you want to do with people and create a relationship moving forward, right? So we had a nice trust, right?
Yep.
We didn't, we did it on a handshake. And again, I wouldn't recommend that for everybody.
Right.
Most of the wholesalers that I've dealt with, though, I built a relationship. I don't know if I've ever put a deposit down on any wholesale deals, but I was always took care of them. I always closed the deals, so it took them off their plate. They trusted me, and if I was dealing with a partnership at that time. It's build that relationship. Give the buyer, if you can trust the buyer and you have a good relationship and you know that they're legit and they have money and they have financing, give them a little bit of a better deal. Don't.
Right.
There's a saying out there. Pigs are slaughtered and piglets are fed. So if you bring a good deal, you can get a pocket buyer, which is sort of what I was in the beginning, right?
Right.
Because when we started out, you were getting lots of deals. There was a lot of stuff coming in. We were sort of you brought it in. If it was a good deal, we took it.
Right.
So it was a nice relationship. So if you can go out there and find a buyer that's that has financing, that is legit, you can trust, a good person, then cultivate that relationship. Maybe instead of making a $10,000 spread on a deal, you make an $8,000 spread on a deal, because on the other side you'll get another deal out of that. So create the relationship. Make sure you get to know the person. And again, there's just a lot of indicators you can do, like how they operate, how they work that first deal with you. It's always tough to I just read something in a book today about really getting to know somebody. It's like 7 days or 7 years, right? So it's like this little in between. You have to sort of make a snap judgment out of the gate, but once you get to know the person, after can't be a one-time deal. It's got to be a little bit of a going out, seeing properties, seeing the person,
Yeah.
and sort of interacting. And then, based off that knowledge, then make a decision on whether you can trust them and move them forward. So yeah, so it was. Listen, it was great working with you, with you guys right out of the gate because it was. We were in buying mode and you were in selling mode.
Yep,
So we
absolutely.
both created some really cool stuff in that span of time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So
Cool.
one other question that a lot of newbies ask is, how do you as a buyer feel about the spread? So the assignment fee.
It's an interesting question because we have a relationship. So in the beginning, as a buyer, I always wanted to know what the spread was and to figure out where the deal was and to figure out if there's any meat on it for you and then also a deal for us. So I like to know the spreads. For you new wholesalers out there, you might want to sort of keep that number close to the vest unless you could get somebody who you trust and you can move forward with. We had a certain number that we worked out to say, hey, we'll take it, this will be the VIG. And that was great.
Right.
So then we just sort of had that VIG and we just sort of carried that around. So what was nice too is that you were able to base your pricing on what that VIG possibly could be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Now that's changed for you guys because now you're getting, now you're big shots and you get huge spreads. So, but it was great. So the thing for me is I personally like to know what the spread is. As long as the deal's a deal, then it's a deal.
Right.
That's how I like
Exactly.
to look at it.
Yeah, and I think, and that was part of, part of our growth, was kind of having that set up and just and then, like you said, having a pocket buyer, there's certain properties where access is just really difficult. There's tenants there, whatever it might be, right? So, getting as many details to the buyer as I possibly could so he knows what he's walking into, right? Then, on a simple walkthrough, you're going to know, and it's going to be sold because he already kind of has an idea. Yeah, you know what? This is a deal. I think I'm going to buy this. Get me through the property. I'm getting somebody through who's actually going to buy it, as opposed to getting somebody through who's kicking tires, doesn't.
Yeah, that's a great point because what happens is what you told me is what the deal was. Now I've dealt with other wholesalers that they've told me what it was and it wasn't. Hey, it needs this, it needs a little bit here and a little bit there, and I go into the place and it's literally falling apart.
Yeah.
So, that's another great thing. When you're starting out, you have to build a reputation. We know in our area.
That's a great point.
Everybody has a good reputation or a bad reputation. We know the good guys, you know the bad guys. So if you want to build a business and stay in an area and last for a long time, be one of the good guys. Be straight on what if it's a nightmare, say it's a nightmare. It's a total renovation, say it's a total renovation. Is it cosmetic? Say cosmetic. But make sure it's there. Every now and then you might miss something, and that's an honest mistake.
Right.
But just be upfront.
Right.
So-
Integrity is major, especially in building relationships. And if you lie, you're going to get caught anyway. You're going to tell them, hey, it's great, and they come in as shitty, they're not going to buy it. Why even waste your time? Now you just ruined your reputation. They're looking at you as a liar. So when you email them again, they're not going to take you as seriously. So
Yep.
always be honest. Be upfront.
Yep.
We've done that plenty of times. Hey, this thing is falling apart. Do you want it? And they say yes or no, and they get in there and not.
Yeah.
One of the things is very major is sometimes you only have one crack at it, one opportunity to get your buyer in and get out. And if you don't have somebody that you know and trust, that if they say yes, they're going to be able to pull that trigger, you just screwed yourself. You might have to end up canceling that contract. So always, always, always be in a position where you're having somebody that you can trust and know that they're going to close, and just build that relationship. It's very important. This is a business of relationships. And if your reputation gets soiled in any way, you're done.
Absolutely.
You are done. There's a whole million wholesalers in every market. So
We've seen a lot of guys come and go.
Yeah. And one of the things you mentioned is your time's important, right? So if you get a wholesaler telling you it's one thing, you take time out of your day to go look at the property, right?
Yes.
That's
Nothing bothers me worse than wasting my time.
oh yeah.
So, as these men would attest to. So.
Absolutely.
And on the flip side, as a wholesaler dealing with buyers, vet them out as well. There's a lot of buyers on the other end that are BS, right? So one of the questions that you always want to ask is, how many properties have you purchased? how many properties have you purchased? How long you been doing this? And if they're saying, oh, I don't have any, this is my first time. Okay, now you know that you're dealing with a first timer that's probably going to be a tire kicker. You want to deal with somebody that's experienced, somebody that can pay cash and is willing to close within 7 days. And make sure they know that they're going to be paying the closing costs. A lot of times they have a problem with that. And you don't want that issue to come up at closing when, oh, what's this on the HUD?
Yeah.
I'm paying the closing costs. No.
Yeah, we actually had that
Yeah.
a couple times, so it was clear moving forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So make sure that they know that they're picking up your assigned contract and they're assuming the rights to your contract so they know what's in the contract. And don't let them see your spread right away. There's ways to protect that. So if it's a deal for them at the price that you agreed to, it should be a deal no matter what you have it locked up for. So if you're making $50,000 or you're making $5,000, it's none of their business.
Yeah.
They're gonna find out in the end, but it's a deal. And one of the things that Rick touched on is he never paid a deposit. That's because of the relationship we had.
Yes.
For all
Yeah.
newbies out there and you're brand new, get a non-refundable deposit. All right, that's your insurance policy. Make it something substantial so that the buyer's not gonna walk away. Because buyers walk away from deals, and if they don't have anything holding them accountable to it, like $100 or something like that, they'll let that go, and then you'll be stuck
Absolutely.
holding the bag. So, always protect yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, and that sort of gives you the if the buyer's serious or not. Once they put cash on the table, you know they're serious.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even as a landlord, when someone puts a cash deposit on a property, I know they want the property.
Yep.
If I don't have cash in hand, I continue to market the property, even though they swear up and down they want it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, there's very few buyers, Rick being one of them, where we would even consider that.
Yeah, well, we have relationship
Yeah.
outside of business also, so that was
Yeah.
part of it. So yeah, again, listen to Jay. Cash is king. Get it up front. Make sure you have it locked down.
Cool.
Cool. All right, well, thank you very much.
Cool.
Any
You're
last
welcome.
words
Appreciate it.
for our guest here?
No, just if you have any deals in Trenton,
Send them over.
my name's going to be somewhere on the video, so just let me know. All right.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
And good luck. And yeah, just it's sometimes it gets tough. Don't give up. There's always a deal around the corner. There's always money to be made as long as you hustle and keep going. So good
Cool.
luck.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yep. Thank
So
you.
guys, as always, if you have any questions, leave your questions at.
Questions at goodvibesre.com.
All right, and please, if you ask questions in this YouTube video, there's a likelihood that it's probably not going to get answered. So leave it at questions at what?
Goodvibesre.com.
Okay.
Till
Thank
next
you very
time.
much. Take care, guys.
Take care.
I gotta learn.